Holotable. It is your favorite YouTuber and Galaxy of Hero player, Mystery Hippo. On today's video, I am here to answer a simple question. So Hippo, I have been farming raid characters like you've shown, but I'm not really sure where to focus, so what do I do next? Well, there are some easy solutions how to build your raid roster into future content, into future farms. I'm not going to go into a breakdown of all farms possible, but I have created a couple little squads to kind of show you some directions you can go. One obvious answer, someone I've been highlighting a lot in the last couple of videos, is Darth Maul, building into him. He costs low gear. You can watch my previous video, which I'll link above or in the description, which talks about some kind of the minimalistic requirements to complete this raid. So if you want to get some raid rewards, you don't want to invest in a lot of teams, you don't have any of the characters really up and going yet, try to figure out, man, I got, 2 mil galactic power, what do I do first? I want to play in this new raid, I want to get the rewards, I want to destroy battle droids to have a good time. What do I do? I would say gear up your Darth Maul, Darth Sidious, get them going. With both these characters built into the requirements for Sith Emperor, for the Sith Eternal Emperor, let me correct that. So if you look over at his journey guide, other characters are required too. I believe there's a couple ships as well, which I don't have him yet, of course, but he may be down the road for me. But you need Palpatine, you need Vader. Those are easy characters to come across. Most people have Vader ready to go. If you just started the game, you may not have them up and going, but Emperor Palpatine is a very early character to get. We can look here really fast. He's a super early tier. You need what do you need here? You need 12,000 recommended power for your rebels. I mean, there are so many rebels to get. I mean, Phoenix, I did it with Phoenix back in the day. Phoenix ended in gear 10 or something like that. I don't remember anymore. But I mean, you got them. You got CLS. If you power through all that, you got a lot of options for rebels. There are plenty to choose from. I don't even have them all yet. So I mean, Phoenix, easy option. They're a great starter team. I just remodded some of my Phoenix for GAC, so hopefully they can give me some holds. I had them no speeds and all. Back in the day, I didn't understand mods, so I had no speed on them pretty much. And I think 5 out of the 6 or 4 out of the 6 have at least speed on their mods now and appropriate stats. But yeah, so he's super easy to get to. I mean, if you're just starting the game and you're not rushing for Palpatine, I'm not sure what you're building. I haven't played early game in a long time, but yeah. Let's go back to the main topic. So, Sith Eternal Emperor. You got Royal Guard, he's easy to come across. I 7-starred him pretty early in the game. Admiral Piet is a bit of a challenge to farm until later, if you're just starting the game, but I was late to the party in gearing him up. But he's a requirement for Executors, so that's a great way to invest your resources. Director Krennic, I mean, it kind of sucks to farm him. The easiest way is through, I believe, field currency, which I have enough shards for 7-star. I just have not used it yet. I'm pretty sure he's sometimes available in certain stores, but he's also farmable. Something you work on the side if you want to go for C first as your GL, or if you're just working for a GL and you have none of the raid units, this is a good way to go. But right here, this is the goal. This is the golden section. Darth Sidious and Maul, both required for C. They're both great characters for the raid. They are a minimalistic team, pivotal, required in the game, solid choice. This is a great route right here. Count Dooku is also required. He's a very useful character. If you give him some supporting characters and some good mods, he can definitely win you some GACs. I know I've had some encounters where I literally could not beat their team because I didn't have enough offense to take him out. Sith Marauder, a little more unique. Imperial TIE Bomber, also a requirement for Executor, I believe. And only needed 6 stars for C, so you can work on C. And then you already have Piet, almost right with 9. So you can easily bump those guys and then get right into Executor after this. Jedi Anakin, he's a little bit outside all these characters and synergies. But, he's a good character. He's needed for Kenobi later on, I believe. It's either Kenobi or Lord Vader, maybe both. But yeah. I mean, these are all good characters on here. You got some Veers and Stark, most people recommend Imperial Trooper squad early on in the game. I don't have that squad because I was not part of that party back in the day, and I just have other farms I've been working on instead of theirs. But there are 2 characters that I will have geared up. I believe they're 7 stars both on my account. But yeah, C is definitely I say easy. It's a relatively easy farm to get to, especially if you're focusing on the raid and you're like, I want to get raid characters first, but I don't want all the characters in the raid. So what do? Maul Insidious, recommend that to get right into C afterwards. Helps you with 2 of those requirements, even though you need other ones too. But if you're looking for a GL, you probably have a lot of relic materials and you're probably in that department. If you have no relic characters yet, a GL may not be your immediate goal for the game, but if you are seeking a GL, like what's my first GL, this would be a great aspect and would give you a lot of raid points too. So help you with gear, help your guild, help all those things. A second is Kenobi, so General Kenobi for GLs. There's a lot more characters that are required for a raid team, so you need a 5-man team. This would not be a squad you would use for the raid of Qui-Gon, Shakti, Mace Windu, Yoda, Aayla Secura, but they're all needed to get Kenobi, and they're all characters you could use in the raid. If you want to help with what team to use, I have a raid attempt where I maxed out with a Jedi squad. You're going to want Luminara as your lead and Kit Fisto on your team too, which those guys are not required for Kenobi, but they're very useful for the raid. So let's go over and look at Kenobi. But Kenobi would be a thing for a raid squad, where if you wanted to invest in all the raid teams possible, Kenobi would be a great way to go because that's 5 characters on his requirements already. That can be used in the raid on a primary and secondary Jedi team, or to fill in squads if you're trying to make it just a makeshift of what leftover in your roster you have. So I mean, you also need Negotiator. That's a tough farm unless you've been farming for a long time or have the packs. But Aayla Secura, Mace Windu only need Relic 3, very easy to do. Qui-Gon Relic 3, he's a great character by himself. He could be a GAC character, he could be a lead for you. You also need Madden Guard, which is also a character you could use inside the raid. Also useful, also needed for gas, which we'll talk about later. A few characters that aren't part of the raid, but you know, that's fine. So for raid characters, we already have this here. Possibility of 1, 2, 3 Qui-Gon, 4 Madden Guard. Scroll down a little more. You got Shakti, so 5, 6. So you got 6 raid characters in the Kenobi farm. That's almost half of all of Kenobi's requirements. So if you do want a GL, that will help you power through, get you a good starting point. Now you do need a Relic 8 and 7s on characters, which will be a bit out of hand for your newer players. But if you don't have a GL, or you're trying to figure out the next one to go off of based off the raid, this will be the most percentage-wise characters required. Not useful for a raid team, but they are useful to plug and play into teams with other leaders. But Kenobi will be something, I'm not going with him right now, but he is going to be somebody I will tackle down the road. My current plans is I'm going to go for Jedi Master Luke first, then probably C, maybe Jabba next, one of these 2 next. This is kind of my current path I'm going on my account. Then I'll probably get Kenobi 4th. But that's kind of my own personal goals, not for this video's purposes. Let's go back to my squads over here. So the next raid path you have is gas characters. Characters that are needed for gas. Not Newt Gunray. I threw my here because he's a separatist, which I don't have him geared up. But he's kind of needed if you want to maximize your amount of teams. But you do need these 4 characters here, which are in the raid, for gas. B1 Battle Droid is not that great in this raid. So if you're only gearing these characters for the raid itself, don't really worry about B1. He dies to lots of AoEs. He will last you a little while, but before he can stack damage, he's not exactly the best. I mean, there might be some squads where you could throw him into, but B2 Super Battle Droid and Madden Guard are going to be your 2 primary focuses if you're not trying to gear up everybody possible. Madden Guard is a great tank. I mean, mine never dies until the rage timer, even no matter what happens. You could have B1 help heal him, but B1's going to die so fast. I'm sure I have some raid attempts. I think it's my first video, or a couple videos ago, where I did a raid attempt. I think I used a Separatist idea. It wasn't very good. Basically what you want to do is you want to mix in like B2, for example, with Maul and Sidious. That'll synergize well in the raid. I will be showing that on stream next time I do a raid, or next video. I might live stream it too. But Gas is a great character, and I almost have him up and going, almost 7 stars. You will need all 4 of these characters. You'll need Zeta on B1. You'll need, well, you don't. I've seen some people do it without. But if you're going for a minimalist gear approach, like I did, I didn't go crazy on the mods or crazy in relics or anything. You'll want Zetas on B1 and B2. That really helps. You don't need a Droideka. It's not necessary to win. It can help you if you have Droideka Zeta, but it's not the most important thing on the team. But this will go right into Gas, which is a very impactful unit. And also for Gas, you have other requirements too. So we'll go into this really fast if you're not aware. Other requirements that are part of the raid. So let's look at Gas, his journey here. So you got this event here. You got some ships. I mean, you're gonna need some of these characters like Plo Koon to get a ship up. Did this event a long time ago, a while back, so I don't quite remember exactly how it goes. I could run it really fast, but there are some Galactic Republic characters here, like a Jedi Consular. So the more gear you put into those characters, relics, if you 6-dot their mods, it'll increase their power of the ships, which is great. That's only 2 characters for the fleets. Not necessary. I didn't have any mods on Plo Koon yet when I did this event, I believe, so it's not necessary for this. But if you go to this section here, you will need Shock T. Other characters here that aren't part of the raid, but you know, getting Shock T will help you in multiple facets. She's a pretty good character, synergizes with clones really well. She can give you a lot of speed ups, cleanse debuffs. She can cleanse an enemy's buffs. A bunch of good stuff with her kit. She's okay with other squads too, but she's what I use in the raid to get my max score because I don't have Yoda geared up. And then of course Separatist here. These are all the required characters. So Asajj is not in the raid, but these 4 over here are. I got Droideka, Magna Guard, B2, and B1 Battle Droid. All units you can use in the raid. B1's the least important. So if you don't want Gas at all, don't worry about farming or gearing them. We'll go over to the raid really fast and just take a quick peek over here. Which might go to not do the best this time around, but that's okay. Everybody's still learning. Yeah, so Luminara is not a requirement for any GLs or any other requirements in the game. But if you want to get a good score in the raid, you will need her. And then you compare her with other characters that are requirements for GLs, like Qui-Gon, like Ayla. I mean, Ayla's going to give you a lot of counterattacks. If you look at Ayla's kit, she's going to call assist here, so you can like one-tap enemies and do extra damage when they assist. And also you got that defense pin when you're stacking buffs. Her unique gives her a counter chance. She can stun her target. Bunch of good stuff there. I've not used her because she's not geared yet, but I do plan to gear her soon. She might be a nice addition to a Jedi team. I might be able to swap her in or have a secondary Jedi team and get a few more points. My Consular is not, I mean, he's geared from way back in the day. My Gungans are almost ready to go. But yeah, the biggest thing is, I think if you're trying to go into the next, trying to propel your raid roster into another later game requirement or aspect of the game, Darth Maul, Sidious, great area to focus on. It's only 2 characters. They help lead you into Sith Eternal Emperor, which I believe is a pretty easy journey to get through when you have all the characters. I haven't done it yet myself, but I know he's an interesting and fun character. If you have Bane or you want to get Bane one day, you can pair him with Bane. It's only 2 characters. It's great for getting banners and GAC. Another great thing to do is for Kenobi. Kenobi is a great defense character. He pairs well with a lot of units. I've seen a lot of different comps in GAC and in the arena, and he has like 6 or 7 requirements in the raid. So you can farm those characters immediately, or almost immediately pop right into General Kenobi, his journey guide, and you're good to go. So that's my biggest things. We'll clean these really fast just to get the notifications off my screen. What's my inbox? Little arena rewards. I'll take that. Then we got some energy down here that we'll do later on in a second. But yeah, biggest things. Whoops, wrong tab. Sorry about that. The biggest things for these squads is C and Kenobi. You could go for gas, but gas requires a lot of other units too. So if you don't have Padme yet, there's a whole nother list of units you need for that. So I would not focus on Separatists unless you want to pair B2 with Maul and Sidious to basically maximize your rewards. But if you're just going for that tier 1 like I talked about in the past, I don't think you need B2. I will be doing testing with Maul and Sidious, just the two of them, when I gear them up for the next raid. So look out for that video in the future as I do a little bit of testing. But I know B2, when he does his special ability, which will trigger quite often, he will call these two to assist, which then stacks their offense and all those goodies. So if you don't know Darth Sidious' kit with his leadership, I believe, yeah, every time your unit does a critical hit, they gain offense. So if your Darth Maul is critting a lot, he'll gain more and more offense. Every assist gains more offense when he crits. All of that good stuff. I could put critical chance on Darth Sidious, but I'm gonna keep speed and potency for now. See how that does. But my Maul is modded out with offense and crit chance. I will, knock this up to a 6-dot mod once I gear him up a little bit more. Yeah, that's the biggest takeaways is if you're looking for the next thing to do with your raid characters, you got option for C, Kenobi, and you got like half the roster for gas. But if you don't have Padme yet, you want gas, there's a whole list of those. If you need help with unlocking Padme, there is a video I can do for that. Some of the Separatists will cross over with Padme, but I did it with Geos back in the day, so that's something you might want to look into. They do take a bit of RNG because as they assist, Padme, gains that protection up, which I'm sure you can counter in GAC, and it can be annoying. But yeah, that's all I have for today's video. It's a little bit shorter. I just know some people were like, I don't want to gear up these characters. I don't know why I would. Well, you got some useful ones. You got Qui-Gon. He's a good team by himself. It leads into Kenobi. It's probably the best route overall. Requires the most characters to invest in, but also gives you probably the best overall objective to go for after you gear these characters. And also the Jedi team can give you really good points really easily. And them or the small team. If you're going for the pure minimalist approach, I would stick with this Maul and Sidious. There are only 2 characters that you need to probably get 450. I'll know for sure next raid cycle. But yeah, guys, so that's it. I'm Mystery Hippo, and I appreciate y'all hanging out. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed the content. If you have anything else you want me to cover or talk about, comment down below. And always, subscribe. Thanks, guys.